My friends, I've been saying this for quite some time now, but we are heading for an historic edition of EICMA 2026. There are gonna be so many new announcements, and today we're gonna talk about something very interesting coming from German manufacturer BMW, which is not resting at all. We already know that some very interesting machines could be presented at EICMA, like the new R20, but maybe also the new generation of S1000RR. There are even rumors about a potential M1300GS, and today we're gonna talk about adventure bikes, but a new displacement category that BMW didn't use us to. We're gonna talk about a 600cc machine. Hi there everyone, I hope you are doing fine. We meet again for a new edition of Moto Bistro, your motorcycle news show dedicated to all the big announcements in the world of motorcycling. And today we're gonna talk about a machine, a prototype that has been spotted by Motorrad, the German website, which you can find just right here. This seems to be the brand new F600GS. Here you have its probable appearance, and so we're gonna detail all of this. We're gonna talk about that. First of all, you can see that in terms of headlamp design, we are very close to what the R1300GS as us used to, because we have the matrix LED headlamp, the X shape, but as you can see there's sort of a plastic cover, so maybe it is for the sake of the prototype and then afterwards they're gonna make a full headlamp, or maybe we're gonna have only this small space here. Doesn't seem very useful, very practical, so I'm guessing that this is just like a placeholder. But we can see already that there are some design choices that are a bit separated, I would say, from the other GS machines. We're gonna detail them just afterwards, but we don't have, the duck peak, as they call it in French, the standard mud guard that we have on many GS machines. And I would say that the fairings of the bike on the side, namely, make me think about, the Tenere 700 from Yamaha. So the bike has a nice look. I am hoping that they're gonna make some nice colors, but if it stays like that and they change the headlamp, we're gonna have an interesting looking machine. So there are some informations that we have about this machine, and both of them come from two French and Belgian websites, Carrot Easy from one side and Motor Journal from the other. So what do they say? BMW is preparing to bridge the gap between the future F450GS, designed for the A2 license, A2 rider's license, and the F900GS. Because as they are saying, very rightly so, there are many machines in the adventure bike category at BMW. We have three major ones. The first one being the F450GS, which is a machine that I had the opportunity to review some weeks ago, some months now ago. Very nice motorcycle. I really do think that it's a welcome addition to this category of 400, 500cc displacement adventure bikes with the new ERC clutch, which is very cool, especially when you are doing off-road riding and you have to focus only on everything that is happening around you. Not having to, press the clutch is very nice. We have the F900GS, which is also a very cool motorcycle. We have a machine that is very versatile, I would say. You have the same engine as the F900R, which is not the most phenomenal, most sensational engine of all time, but it does everything quite well. And finally, we have the gigantic motor, the R1300GS, which is in many countries in Europe and maybe also in the USA, one of the most sold motorcycles ever, which is kind of crazy. I didn't talk about the S1000XR and the M1000XR because those are what we call like crossover motorcycles. So they look like an adventure bike, but they have much sportier elements inside of them. So as of now, I would say that the three main adventure bikes at BMW are those three, and there is a gap between the F450GS and the F900. And as they say on the article from Karadisiak, they have some informations about the engine that we could expect for this machine. So according to the first elements we have today, the bike will be based on the 420cc liquid cooled vertical twin from the F450GS that develops 48 horsepower on that machine, but it would have to be rebored to around 585cc this time for an estimated power of between 65 and 70 horsepower, which is very nice. It places it perfectly between the other two members of the FGS family, because the F900GS is around 90-95 horsepower, so that's quite cool. In terms of chassis, we should have a tubular steel frame, which is something that BMW uses on almost all of their adventure bikes. A large inverted fork at the front and a right-mounted monoshock at the rear. Braking would be interesting to 2 discs at the front, which is kind of cool because on the F450GS you only have one, so maybe the power surplus on this machine justifies that to have 2 braking discs, which seems to me kind of nice. And as they say, aesthetically, the new visual signature with the X-LED LED headlight in the style of the R1300GS is very present. However, the prototype surprised in development comes without the traditional GS beak at the front, that sort of mud guard. Strategically positioned between the F450 and the tenors of the category around 11,000 euros, which is not quite right, because if we are talking only about BMW motorcycles, the F900GS costs 1,400,000 euros, in France, and the price is very, very close in the other countries. So it's kind of double the price from the F450GS. And so what they say is that the price could be around 10,000 euros, maybe just under it. And there's something that is, in my opinion, quite interesting on BMW's lineup. Like, it's been like 2-3 years ago that they've been doing that. It has been like 2 to 3 years, I would say. Many people tend to say that BMW's motorcycles are expensive, and that is the case. Like my R1300R is 25,000 euros with all the options. So those are expensive machines. But there is also sort of a positioning from BMW on some bikes that I really find super, super interesting. Like the S1000RR is a machine that doesn't cost that much when you compare it to the competition, because at 21,500,000 euros, you can add options on it and you will reach something around 23, 24, but you have to take into consideration that from the go, without any options, the bike is already excellent. You have a 212 HP 4-cylinder engine, which is completely crazy. You have the gigantic screen, many things. And when you reach the 24,000 euros, you are at the same price as an Aprilia RSV4 factory, but with a much higher degree of finish on the bike, of technology. You have the brand also behind it. So I wouldn't say that it is the most expensive machine per se when you take into account all the considerations. It's the same thing for the M1000R. It's not a very expensive machine when you take all the elements that are inside of it, which can easily rival a Street Fighter V4S, which is much more expensive. And it is the same thing for the F450GS. I really do think that this bike is not the most expensive. 7,000 euros, 7,500 euros. Even if you put some options on it, you will reach 8,000 euros. Of course, there are some Chinese machines that are less expensive, but this bike could have cost much more, and it's not the case. So I can see where putting the F600GS at 10,000 euros or a little below could be something that is believable. And so to see it on our roads, however, you will have to be a little patient. Those are the information that we get from Karadisiak. Series production of the F600GS is not expected to start until the summer of 2028, which is not something that could keep us from having news of this bike at EICMA 2026, because if you remember, the marketing around the F450GS has started very soon, like 2 years almost before the release of the bike. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get some informations at EICMA 2026, but at the same time, BMW is probably one of the brands with the most potential announcements in store for EICMA 2026. We have, as I told you in the beginning of the video, the brand new S1000RR that could be announced. We have the R20 Cafe Racer, which could be an incredible announcement also from BMW. Rumors have it that they are gonna announce a M1300GS, which could also be huge. And a few hours ago, it seems like a patent has been made in the USA for a M1000RS. So they could go with a Sport GT version of the S1000R, of the M1000R. That could be completely incredible, like a R1300RS, but with the inline 4-cylinder engine from the S1000RR and the M1000R. That could be super interesting. So we will watch all of this with a lot of attention, but I do believe that EICMA 2026 is gonna be one of the most important editions of all time, maybe of all the years we've had this incredible motorcycle show. And of course, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel to have all the notifications so you can really follow all of this, because I will be there. I will be in Milan to cover all of EICMA, all the news, all the new announcements. It's gonna be super cool. So tell me in the comments, what do you think about this potential new F600GS, which is kind of unusual in this category of, displacement. There aren't that many adventure bikes with 600cc engines, so I am very curious about what do you think on this machine. And in the meantime, guys, girls, subscribe to the channel. If it's not the case, it's the best support, the best strength you can send. I will see you very soon. Take care, enjoy riding, see you.